Hey everybody, ASIC Eric here again, and we're going to be welding in this rocker patch today. I spent a little more time on that last night after I turned the camera off, prepping everything, got all the edges hammered and dollied and ground down and stuff, so it's pretty much ready to go. One thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a backer plate behind here to try and help strength wise and also get everything lined up. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of the rocker that's left over and just cut a little piece about yay big to fit inside there, and then I'll screw that in place, and that'll help pull all of this stuff into the right spot. So we cut these pieces off here. Give you an idea how that's going to work. So that's just going to stick inside here. Like I said, I'll screw it into place to lock it down and plug weld it in. And then this little piece up at the top here that hopefully will help keep everything in place, get it nice and straight on all these edges before I weld it. And give it some extra strength. I'll put a few plug weld holes along the way as well. Alright, so that's pretty much ready to go. I think everything's ready to go at this point. So gotta clean these off, get some weld through primer on everything, all these edges. Hop to it. Alright, I have this all screwed in place here on the existing rocker side. What I did is I went through and punched the holes in for the plug welds everywhere, and then marked it with a Sharpie where those are, and I'm just going to grind off those areas for the welding, because I want to leave as much of the galvanized coating on there as possible when I do the welding and the primer and everything, to protect it as much as possible. So only want to grind off just as much as I need to. Alright, so here you can see all the marks where I need to grind. I really want to grind as little as possible, keep as much coating on here as I can. Now, this front tab up here was always pretty goofy and never really lined up right. Plus it was all chewed to hell when I took it off. So I took the one off my other rocker. I'm going to put it up there like that. I'm just going to flange this right here and stick it right on there. Alright, so we are ready to go here. Got all the surfaces coated with weld through primer. All the inside surfaces where the metal is mating. Those pieces are done. I got my welder set up. I have not welded 18 gauge before. This is the recommended setting for 18 gauge, so I'll start with that, see how it goes. Go up or down from there. Most of the metal I've been working on is like 20 gauge, maybe even 22, some of it. So one thing on this, this is galvanized steel. I've probably ground most of the galvanized coating off, but in places like inside here I couldn't really get to it. So when you're welding galvanized, be careful, because that zinc vaporizes, turns into zinc oxide. You don't want to breathe that stuff. So I've got my respirator on here. I'm probably going to have the fan running as well, which isn't necessarily as good for the shielding, but it's not blowing directly on the car. It's kind of making some eddies and stuff around the car just to blow all this crap out into the street. I don't want to be breathing it. Anyway, so I'm just waiting for this stuff to dry, and then we'll put the panel on for hopefully the last time, cinch all the screws down, add a few more screws to really tighten it down, and start welding. Alright, I think I've got it where I want it to be. Check this one last time. That looks pretty good, looks okay with the door closed. So, this edge is giving me a little grief today for some reason. This thing's sticking out a little too far, so I need to kind of nudge that in. So I'm going to push this in and then tack that in to hold that in place there. answered that question. I was wondering if I could run a bead on here. The answer is no. It blew up. Alright, so try dialing the current back a little bit here. See how that goes. Okay, so after a little bit of welding, close the door again, try and make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. This reveal isn't exactly what I wanted. This didn't cinch up as much as I would have liked. It's not bad. It's off a little bit. I suppose maybe someday I can tweak that door a little bit right there to account for that, but I think it's going to be alright. And if you look down the line here, I think the line's looking pretty good. Seems like everything's where it's supposed to be. Alright, so now that it looks like it's approximately right, at least as good as it's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and burn this back edge in here and do that button roll to bring you along for the ride for that, see how that goes. I did these plug welds here just partial, but I have to get the screws back up. These look real nice here. So let me get those screws out.
Alright, well you can see it's pretty ugly. So much spatter and stuff going on here that's weld all not that great. Hopefully it's not got too much porosity and stuff in it, but I feel good that I have that back and put it there now. Over the plug weld, we need this all the strength and the rest of the sequence. So just keep working on filling the voids and stuff here.
Alright, we'll show you how far we got today. So we got this all welded up here. Got all these plug welds done in here. Not the prettiest welding, but it worked. I got some good welds. Oops, sorry, I zoomed in here. This corner here, I got this bit welded back together up here. This is mostly done. That's just kind of tacked in over there. I kind of decided to stop here because it is just a bear to try and weld under the car. Burned the shit out of my leg here. Two big globs. Let me see that burn right through my sock there. So this just sucks. And plus, I just had a dickens of a time trying to get these welds happy down here. Just welding upside down just sucks. So tomorrow, my dad was gonna come over today, but he didn't. So tomorrow we'll take this door off, then I can rotate the car again. It'll be easier. Plus I can't really get to this stuff here with the door in the way. So I need to do that. So this is kind of a mixed bag in terms of alignment and things. If you look at this edge here with the straight edge, this is golden. That's really good. I can't complain there, but when you come out here, look at the same edge here. If I can get the darn ruler up there. There we go. Pretty big gap right there. And same thing if you come and look at the bottom of the car. There's a pretty big gap. So unfortunately, you come back and look at the car here, you can see that crown there. No, I'm not really sure what I can do about that. It kind of is what it is. Maybe I can bang this piece up here and try and get that to line up a little better there. Because, you know, everything is straight there, that line. It's the bottom edge that's not straight, so not really much I can do about it. The door closed. And get a look at the reveal here. Try and get you the view there. It's pretty consistent, so I think I did a good job there. No bad signs there. If you take a look down the car here, it looks pretty good, except for the very back there. So I think if anything, if I can get the back of that quarter panel to kind of come up, sorry, not quarter panel, rocker panel, to come up, I think all will be good with the world again. That's where that thing ended up lining up at the end, which is what it is, as we say. Anyway, that's a whole bunch of welding today, a whole bunch of grinding, big mess down here. I'm tired. Hang on. If anybody has any ideas on why the welder was giving me so much trouble on these welds, let me know. I tried adjusting the current and wire speed and stuff, and a little more wire helped, but still just not happy. So I don't know if it's the weld through primer, the galvanized steel, a combination of both, what, but it doesn't really want to weld. It just kind of spatters everywhere and not happy. But I can get it pretty good. I mean, you can see here, you know, you come back enough times and tap in all the little voids and stuff, fill in the little voids, I should say. Like, I got more work to do here. I can get it to look pretty good, so I think it's going to be fine. This is a lot of work. But that, I think that's going to look pretty good. Let me check that edge. See how we did here. Hang on, sorry, shaky cam. That's pretty good. So we got the little bit of the dip there where the weld is, as would be expected. So that's pretty nice. And here, that's a little bit in the center there, actually. Pretty good. And here, it's good. This down a little more here, but anyway, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming out. Ooh, let me check the seal real quick and make sure everything lines up still. Well, it's not exactly right, but it's pretty close, so that's right on. That's pretty spot on. And look at this. This guy almost ended up lining up. It's just back that way a hair. So it's pretty close. So that tells me that thing lined up this way correctly finally. As I mentioned before, I filled in this hole here by mistake. So that's pretty good. That actually lines up about right. Not bad, not bad. Still looks a little fishy here, I guess, because this comes to the edge here, and you can see that's kind of centered there, and over here it's too far that way, and it's kind of sticking in too far here, but whatever. think they're gonna have to live with that. I mean, I can re-drill the holes if I need to. Take this and kind of slide it that way, like that. I think is where it really wants to be. That looks better. So I may re-drill the holes anyway, just to make sure everything's where it looks good. It's nice. I think it'll work. I'm not sure. I was wondering if this thing's supposed to sit down inside there, but it's not. It can't. That wouldn't be right. Think about there's where it wants to go. Something like that. Anyway. All right, folks. Thanks a bunch. Again, let me know if you have any comments, anything you saw here, and we'll hopefully wrap it up tomorrow. Thanks.